Okay, this is piece 165, Painted Elk Hide, and the identifiers are, this is the artist, Kotsigo, who is also called Kadzi Cody, and he is a member of the Eastern Shoshone tribe on the Wind River Reservation in Wyoming in the United States. And conveniently, it's painted elk hide are the materials, which makes it nice because that's the same title too. So context, here's Kotsigo, and this is the Wind River Reservation in Wyoming, circled here in pink, and it is the seventh largest reservation in the United States. This is what it looks like. The Wind River Reservation is a part of the Great Plains in the center of the United States. And on the Great Plains, which this is what the reservation town area looks like. On the Great Plains, the Shoshone people would have been nomadic. They were great horse people. Were known. Lewis and Clark with Sacagawea got horses from the Shoshone people. Sacagawea was Shoshone, and they followed the buffalo and hunted the buffalo. And in 2017, buffalo were returned to this 2 million acre reservation. In the spring, after a hard winter, the groups of Shoshone people would regather and they would have ceremonies like you see here. These are ceremonial celebration of getting through the winter, looking forward to a productive summer season of hunting and gathering, a productive spring and summer. And one of the ceremonies that was conducted was the Sundance. And in the Sundance, the young men would pierce their chest muscles with bone or their back muscles with bone, and they would suspend kind of a leather thong through on that bone and attach it to a pole. You see here, this is a singular pole, but this is more of what is featured on our painted elk hide, this situation here with the center pole and these extending poles. At any rate, they would submit themselves to this ritual in the hope of gaining strength and in the hope of giving sacrifice for the benefit of their family, their community. And ultimately, they were pulling themselves away from the pole and waiting for their muscle and their skin to rip as a sacrifice. So what is featured in terms of content on the painted elk hide here is not exactly the Sundance. This is a wolf dance that's shown here, but it was intended to probably be the Sundance. More content on the painted elk hide is, you can see we have 2 teepees, so we have the daily life of camp as well as the Sundance. We have 2 women are seated here around a fire, and we have men on horseback and over here who are returning victoriously from battle or from a hunt. And here we have men on horseback who are hunting the buffalo. And then at another spot on the painted elk hide, we have a person who is cutting up the buffalo and separating the parts of the buffalo into piles. In terms of form, on here on the right, this is a petroglyph found on the Shoshone Wind River Indian reservation in Wyoming, and this petroglyph is a petroglyph of a horse, and here is a man seated on the horse with a spear, and there is a headdress made of feathers extending down onto the horse here, and so that's what you see replicated here. So petroglyphs likely inspired Kotsigo in the making of this painted elk hide, which he made in the 1890, 1900. This is an era where Native Americans were being forced onto, or had been forced onto, or adjusting to life on reservations. Um, Natural pigments are used, so like the buffalo here, some of the red here could have been natural pigments, but there were also these modern colors from, the industrial society. So paint could be found here, like in the purple, maybe some of that red, some of these bright colors. Also, there's a combination of not only paints types, but there's hand painting and stenciling going on. You can see the variety of shapes of the buffalo here, that those were likely hand painted, but the stenciling can be seen like in these dancers that you see here and here on this horse. Uh, and then just all together, this is a real energized surface with lots of action, lots of animals in motion, people in motion. So the function of this piece is that it, just like a petroglyph, this records the story, the history of the Shoshone people. It is also, just like a lot of other of our Native American pieces, it serves as a dual function, not only artistic but also as a useful piece. So this is a wall hanging, but it's also classified as a robe that could be worn. And another function of it is just in this time of tumultuous transition, 1890, 1900, this would serve as a way of just native culture being preserved, survival of this culture. And then also, kind of like our black on black pottery, is that this would have appealed to European tourists who were very curious about this native culture, and particularly that Sundance that was outlawed by the US government. There would have been some real curiosity about what that was like. So, Painted Elk Hide by Kosigo in Eastern Shoshone Wind River Reservation.